Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Director Cardray. Thank you for coming this morning. Several high-profile data breaches at major U.S. retailers, including the most recent breach at Target, has raised Americans' anxiety levels about the security of their personal financial information. Yet I think most Americans would be surprised to learn that one of the largest repositories of financial data in the country is maintained by a retailer, not by a retailer or a financial institution, but by the CFPB. The Bureau is tracking, as my colleague from New Jersey mentioned, 991 million credit card accounts, at least 8.6 million individual credit reports, and now as many as 227 million mortgages. We know that the Bureau has already experienced 3 breaches at its consumer complaint portal, and the government's less than stellar track record in this area suggests that there may be many more to come. So my question to you, Mr. Cordray, is can you personally guarantee that consumers' personal financial information is 100% secure?
So first of all, you know, there are a lot of comparisons made, some of them very casually about in relation to us to the stimulus bill, which we have nothing to do with, us to the NSA, which we have nothing to do with, us to healthcare, which we have nothing to do with. What we do have to do with is the work that we're doing on behalf of consumers and the issues we can control. And the issue you raise is an important one, and it's one that I take very seriously, just as you take it very seriously, and it would be pretty bad for our agency if we didn't take it very seriously. What I can say is we attempt to safeguard any information we have about the American public in 2 ways. First of all, wherever possible, we're trying to gather aggregated information. I don't really care or want to know anything about your personal spending habits. All that does is get in my way because there's provisions in the federal law for that kind of personal information and how carefully you have to safeguard it. Where we do gather that information necessarily, like through our consumer response function, where people have to give us their details in order to have their complaint be handled, we are both complying with all of the security and privacy provisions that are pretty extensive in federal law, trying to do that very carefully, and people are looking at us to see how we're doing that, both our Inspector General and GAO. And it's something that I personally am very mindful of, and we will do our absolute best not to have a problem in this area because I recognize that problem would hurt this agency, hurt our mission, and not be what you or we want.
So you're collecting a lot of data. You're doing the best you can. I want to quote the President said recently, he said, "All of us understand that the standards for government surveillance must be higher. Given the unique power of the state, it's not enough for leaders to say, trust us. We won't abuse the data we collect. For history has too many examples when that trust has been breached." And so you're saying you're not doing it, but the President's saying, you know, we can't always take that, you know, as at face value. I think the question, and I want to follow up with something Mr. Garrett mentioned, is can this data be reverse engineered?
So first of all, again, you're giving me quotes about the NSA, which is not us and not what we're doing, and I don't
You're
think
still
there's
collecting
any comparability
about almost
there,
as I think you and NSA are in a contest of who can collect the most information, and I think the jury's still out is
fundamentally
who's going to win
reject
that contest.
that categorization. However, in terms of what we're doing, we're making every effort to be very careful, both in satisfying the federal law in terms of security and privacy, and in terms of treating consumers properly. If we're careless with their information, that's not consistent with our mission, and we're not.
And so the question is can this data be reverse engineered? That was the question.
So the issue of whether data can be reverse engineered is a complicated one. That's why we try to aggregate as much as we can at a very high level. There may be information gatherings that the government has done across many sectors that at one time could not be reverse engineered but may become more capable of having that happen. That's something that we're very careful about and mindful of and thinking about. My point is, you can't, that's not an issue that you can answer at one time for all time. It's something that may change over time.
So the fact that you're concerned about it, does that mean that you think it can be reversed engineered?
I think we're concerned about making sure that that could not happen as much as possible. Nobody at the Bureau, I can tell you, is reverse engineering anything. Nobody has the time or interest to do that. It would only cause us trouble, all right? However, we're trying to be mindful of, as we gather information, making sure that it wouldn't be subject to reverse engineering by us or anyone, because I don't need that kind of headache, frankly.
Well, I think one of the things that you evidently there's some concern about it, because in one of your contracts with CoreLogic, you say that they agree not to attempt or directly, indirectly, or reverse engineer. So evidently that capability exists, or you wouldn't have that in your contract.
The time of the gentleman is expired.
Again, we're trying to make sure that that will not happen, and that is a term in our contract, and we're going to hold our contractors to that.
Time of the gentleman is expired. Chair now recognizes